Mhm.
Okay, here we go. Okay, so the association that we had is National Catholic Education Association, and the group members are Deanna, Raina, me, Cosette, and Teresa. So the first slide we have is the association's mission statement. And the statement is, in the service of the gospel of Jesus Christ, NCEA strengthens Catholic school communities by providing professional development, formation, leadership, and advocacy. So the entire mission statement for the National Catholic Education Association is really trying to strengthen the Catholic school communities all over the country. And they're doing this especially through the gospel of Jesus Christ because they're trying to develop and provide so many different services to the education society. The services that they're promoting, like stated in their mission statement, are professional development, formation of community, leadership inside the school community, and the major one is advocacy. By advocating for the entire association, you are basically promoting the education for all children within the Catholic community. And being able to promote the Catholic faith is allowing the future for Catholic education in our country. And also, one important thing that I saw on their website was the vision statement as well. And they're just trying to enforce that they're trying to create a more vibrant Catholic school that transforms the lives of society. So, moving into the history of the association, the first CEA meeting was held in 1904, and it lasted from July 12th to July 4th in St. Louis, Missouri. So originally the CEA was made up of three different education organizations. It was the Education Conference of Catholic Seminary Faculties, which was established in 1989, the Association of Catholic Colleges, which was established in 1899, and then the Parish School Conference, which was established in 1902. These three education organizations decided at this meeting to come together as one and unite so that they would have a greater force and impact in the education system. And that's when they developed the Catholic Education Association. However, in 1919, the CEA was the only unifying agent of Catholic education. So during this year, they were able to establish the NCWC, which was the National Catholic War Council. But however, they decided to change that name to the National Catholic Welfare Council because they wanted to help serve the American bishops as well as all Catholic activity that was going on throughout our country. Along with this, the CEA was able to work with the Department of Education of the NCWC to establish the USCCB, which was the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops. Then the next major year was 1927 when they added national to the CEA. And basically, in 2 years later, in 1929, they got their official title of the association, which is the NCEA, National Catholic Education Association, when they moved the headquarters to Washington, D.C. They decided to make this major move to Washington, D.C. because they wanted to be surrounded by the other education, national education agencies as well. And the closer proximity allowed them to work with both public and private education associations. And present day, the NCEA is now focusing on three very important goals. So the first important goal is leadership development of superintendents, presidents, principals, pastors, and governing bodies within the Catholic education system. The second goal is professional development for teachers. They want to be making sure that they're striving for that professional development within all the teachers. And then the third one is the voice for Catholic school education. They're basically the reason why you are able to have Catholic education in our country to this day.
So in terms of community outreach, the NCEA has established many different technological resources to connect schools to each other all across the United States. And the website is where you can find all of that information. However, there's one caveat. Many of those resources are not available to people who don't have memberships, and memberships cost money. So some people aren't able to access the resources that they need without the membership. However, the NCEA has established a career center for educational professionals. It's a main clearinghouse for job opportunities, career, and employment for Catholic educators in Catholic schools. The NCEA also provides educational resources for English language learners. Their goal is to embrace, educate, and empower students and families from the Latino community. Along with that, they've established the Latino Educator and Administrator Development Program, also known as LEAD. The program aims to strengthen the Latino voice in both the classroom and the school level nationally. The initiative was designed to invite and advance and retain Latino educators in school so that their voice could be heard throughout it, since there's a growing population of Latino students within the Catholic schools among different dioceses. And it just wanted to give them opportunities to express the challenges that their community might face and see how Catholic schools could better help them out. According also with that is that there are many webinars for teachers to take part in and take advantage of to implement best practices in their classrooms. In terms of funding and effectiveness, the NCEA is an organization that is a 501 nonprofit entity, and they have a fiscal year ending on June 30th. The association's primary source of operating revenue are membership dues, which I previously stated, annual conventions, various conferences and teacher administrative conferences, corporate partnerships, which bring in the most revenue because there are different levels. There is a premium membership, a platinum, a gold, and at each level, the corporation has a different level of involvement in the organization, and they have an annual gala at the end of the year. Their primary financial assets are dissatisfied portfolio of professionally managed equity and a fixed income investments. The NCEA has a day of giving, and the poster on the side of the screen just shows you the breakdown of that. So on their day of giving, they raised $859,000. That came from 6,948 gifts. Those gifts were then distributed to 539 schools in 136 dioceses. So the effectiveness of just that single day was able to help so many different schools and further the organization's missions and goals. And on top of that, the revenue that they bring in not only comes through gifts, but also through webinars where they're getting money from participants, but they're also able to give back information to those people. And according to their 2018 annual report available on the website, the association remains financially sound with sufficient resources to support their mission.
So as mentioned before, the National Catholic Education Association's work focuses on 3 factors, and they are leadership development, professional development, and they serve as the voice for Catholic school education. So after their headquarters move in 1929, the NCEA began working with more associations in order to extend themselves to cover all aspects of American education. These other organizations include the Association of Catholic Colleges and Universities, which works to foster collaboration among all Catholic colleges and universities. Next is the Catholic Higher Education Supporting Catholic Schools. This organization exists to strengthen Catholic schooling throughout research, teaching, professional development, consulting, and writing. The Catholic Library Association provides members professional development through educational and networking experiences, publications, scholarship, and other means. And lastly, the National Standards and Benchmarks for Effective Catholic elementary and secondary schools, provide standards and give an explanation for how a well-managed and responsibly governed Catholic schools should operate overall. So their web presence is pretty spread out. Their main focus is their website, and on their website you can find information about their organization and their history and the work they do and their affiliates. But they also provide links to other services that they offer, such as webinars and online courses to help Catholic education. Their Facebook and their Twitter more or less have similar information on them. They post links to their webinars and classes that they're holding, or any links to meetings, as well as just Catholic education and inspiration. But on their Twitter, they also host, like they'll ask a question and they host like little giveaways for the community. Their YouTube basically just gives you a snippet into their classes that they offer and just their talks overall and their town hall meetings. And their LinkedIn just provides resources for how you can find a job in their organization and the positions they offer. And then lastly, their Pinterest gives you photos of Catholic education and like things that are happening in schools, as well as tips for Catholic schools, and then other infographics about their funding, different ways to implement things into a classroom, etc.
Okay. I have the pleasure of speaking to Kathy Mayers. She's an interim president of NCEA. She has been teaching for 40 years and is currently standing in as the president until the organization finds another, which is currently being done through a national search program. The mission of NCEA, in Kathy's own words, is to support Catholic organizations and leadership. This is done by sharing the message of God. The organization helps Catholic schools through development and advocacy at this national level. NCEA helps with the development of teachers and offers school staff development. They collect the most data in the country on Catholic schools to help bring families and collect money. They also contact interviews of school officials to make sure everything is up to date and running how it should be. As stated, the organization is funded by membership dues, professional development costs, and corporate sponsors. Since they are a nonprofit 501, they can't collect money on themselves. The organization works with USPCB dioceses that need assistance in Catholic higher education institutes, such as Boston University and Notre Dame. Catholics said that she would love to work with DeSales University, but no one has reached out to her yet. The organization impacts the community by being a voice for Catholic education, especially through the national level of DC. I was very interested in knowing how to become a president, and she said that it's through the organization search and that they have to spend their life for education, especially Catholic education. So one can be involved with the organization through schools or individual, but it's cheapest for schools. And then I wanted to know one thing that she wanted to tell the public. She wanted to tell the public that they serve members and that Catholic organizations, she believes that Catholic schools make a difference in their communities. She stated that when Catholic schools close, the community is greatly affected, especially through like their money, food, and clothing that they receive. It also, she said that if the Catholic school shuts down, then more crime seems to occur. She also said the research shows that 3 times more likely for students at Catholic schools to be involved in service as well as to vote and to run for office. And then I had an interview with somebody that was an alumni at St. Jude's Catholic school in Chalfont, Pennsylvania. oops. He went there for 9 years. Their mission is to collect money and help the community. They do that through a Mercy's outreach program, which each grade is assigned to a group of people in need: the sick, the elderly, and the hungry, the poor. And a group of parent volunteers work with the teachers and the children to work on these activities or projects. The school mission is to basically just go through gospel verses. And then he said that he learned to reach out to the community, prayers, and church procedures.
Okay, and then we just have a reference slide for all the sources that we use. Basically, it was the National Catholic Education Association website where we were able to find information about the association, the history, the mission statement, and then we also used the St. Jude School website for our interview as well. And so that's it. So, okay.